Hey there folks, in this video I'm going to be teaching you why 1-to-1 risk reward is better than 3-to-1 for most traders. Not every single trader, but for most traders that's the case. And I'm also going to be teaching you a strategy in this video that's a little bit slower paced. So maybe you're one of those individuals who finds maybe the 1 minute a little bit too quick. Maybe you find yourself getting a little bit too emotional with a 1 minute chart, or maybe you have already mastered the lower time frame and you want to just expand your arsenal and bump up the time frame a bit, add something else to your arsenal, right? So that's what I'm gonna do in this video. So not only am I going to be teaching you like why 1-to-1 is better for most folks, but what I'm also going to teach you a strategy, step-by-step rules that you can go in today, back test it, study. Because don't just take my word for it. Go study it. Go back test it yourself, and you're going to see what I'm saying is the truth. This is a very nice strategy with 1-to-1. Okay. And I always just bring up receipts to show like I actually know what I'm talking about. I'm not just sitting on here yapping. This is with 1-to-1. Some P&Ls are bigger because, of course, sometimes I take more trades, but also there's cases like I'll bail before New York close, or I won't hold into high impact news. So sometimes and then there's adaptation rule with CC. But like this is with 1-to-1, folks. This is with 1-to-1 risk reward. So don't you let anybody tell you that you can't be profitable with 1-to-1. I'm proof of it that you can. I've done this my entire career. You know, I've been in this game a long time. I started trading in 2014. And I did trade big risk reward in the beginning whenever I was first starting. Didn't find any success with that. And eventually I gravitated over to 1-to-1. The thing about big risk reward is it's a lot more difficult emotionally. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. The thing about big risk reward is the whole point of trading it is so you can take more losses. I see these traders saying, you know, like this, if you are an individual that's watching this that wants big risk reward, but you also want a high win rate, your head's in the wrong place. It ain't gonna happen. And anybody who tells you that they have a high win rate with big risk reward is either a few things, and I promise you this is a guarantee. I promise you from the bottom of my heart, this is a guarantee. They are either lying to you, they want to sell you some BS course, which is a lot of people in this industry, unfortunately. They are a naive newbie that's on like a hot streak, but that's going to come to an end. You know, tell them to check back in a few years and see if they're still doing that. Ain't going to be the case, I promise you. And it's like it's usually those two buckets. It's either like those two buckets right there. The whole point of trading big risk reward is so you can take more losses. But here's the thing about that. That is difficult for your psychology. You're still a human being. Sure, losses are part of the game. You got to be able to take losses on the chin. You got to embrace it. But you're also a human being. You're not a robot. And the thing about this is, I do apologize, but not to cut in. I do apologize. I have like a little bit of background noise. I'm not in my usual environment today. I'm on vacation right now, as y'all know. So I do apologize if that's kind of cutting in the back, the construction. But as I was saying, the 1-to-1, the reason why it's superior is because the drawdowns, the losses are just less. It's just less, so it's not as damaging to your psychology. You'll still have losing streaks and drawdown, but they are so much smaller with 1-to-1. That's the thing. They are so much smaller. They are so much short-lived. So you're able to come out of it much more easily. It's not as damaging to your psychology. You see what I mean? So yeah, you're going to have to accept losses, but it's still, you're not going to be in it for as long as you will with like 2-to-1, with 3-to-1, with 4-to-1, and so on and so forth. That's the big reason here. And it's like in regards to trading psychology, 1-to-1 risk reward is actually one of the most underrated things to improve your psychology that nobody talks about. Literally nobody talks about it. You know, you go on social media and it seems like, I know everybody's kind of regurgitating the same info, right? It's like everybody kind of says the same thing, but it's like in a little bit of a different format. But the thing about that you really see nobody talk about is 1-to-1 and for psychology. And it's such a big part of building good psychology. And that's how you know that there's gold there. That's how you know that there's some gold there, that there's truth there. Now the next thing, I'm just going to completely debunk this. The most common argument is, oh, commission sale, Mike, commissions fees, they're going to cut in. So guess what? You like once that kind of rolls in, well, you have to have a lot higher win rate. And I'm here to tell you that is bullshit. It's complete bullshit. All right. Even with commissions, folks, even with commissions, 60% win rate, 70% win rate, like you're still eating even after commissions. You don't got to take a quadrillion trades a day. Just take 1-2 solid sniper shots a day. 60% win rate. You're eating. You're doing good. Because without an edge, And I got this from, I watched another really great risk reward video. And this individual, he made a very good point. He said, like, if you don't have an edge and you go into the market with any old random strategy, let's just say you take some random strategy that's not an edge, it's going to be 50-50. It's just 50-50. It's like rolling, it's like flipping a coin. You know, you take any old random coin, you flip a coin, 50-50. That you're going to get heads, you're going to get tails. It's the same thing with just taking a random strategy that's not an edge. So you just need one little itty bitty little thing, one little itty bitty thing, one little edge, and you're bumping that up. And now you're reaching profitability. You've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed to believe that you need ginormous winners or even a 2-to-1. You don't even need a fucking 2-to-1. 1-to-1 is ample. Nobody does it, or not very many people do it. And that's how you know there's actually something of value there. Because guess what? Most people are not fucking profitable. Most people in this industry lose money. And they all do the same shit. But not very many people trade this way. So that's how you know, hey, this is a direction that has something there. Because all the BS is in the other direction. That's the direction that everybody goes in. So you don't need anything super special or revolutionary. You just need a small edge. And I'm going to give you that in this video. Now, this is a really good edge. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a small edge, but I'm saying like a small edge is all you need. All right. And you can go test this for yourself. So I'm going to go over a few different examples here. So we're going to start with EU. All right. This is this is with 1 hour execution. And this is also using failed twos. If you don't know what a failed two is, check out my video on the strat. I'm going to leave a couple links in the video description. After you watch this video, go watch those videos so you know what a failed two is. So you see on Monday, you see how this candle, I want you to focus. Actually, let me just kind of go back to this so it's not confusing. You see how this candle right here, see how that took out that low right there? You see that? And that failed to displace. So the first step of this strategy, this 1-to-1 risk reward strategy, is you want to see it fail to displace through a previous daily low. It fails to displace that daily low. That is a failed two. When that closes like that, that's a failed two. And what a failed two indicates is that a reversal to the upside is in the near future. Because there's liquidity and everything everything revolves around liquidity. So what it's telling us is it has collected that liquidity and it failed to displace through it, which tells us that it can't move lower. It doesn't want to move lower. The close tells you everything. So all it was doing right here, think of it like it came down to collect fuel with that liquidity beneath the daily low. What you're going to do next is you're going to go to the 4-hour chart. And here's what you want to see on the 4-hour chart, because if it is a bullish failed two, because that's what it is, because it failed to displace lower, it's a bullish failed two. What you want to do next is you're going to go to your 4-hour chart and you want to make sure that on the push up that creates the 1 hour shift, because what we're going to be playing is 1 hour shifts. You don't want to see any higher time frame buy side taken. What do I mean when I say higher time frame buy side? I mean a swing high. So your next swing high is right here. And you need to also pay attention to new swing highs that are formed. You don't want to see any swing high taken on the 4-hour chart. So now ask yourself this question. Was there a swing high taken on that initial push up right there? There wasn't. There wasn't a swing high taken on the 4-hour chart. So we have number one. Write this down if you need to, or put it in your phone or whatever. Number one, you have a failed two on the daily. Number two, the 4-hour has no higher time frame buy side taken. Number three, on that push up right there that you see where we had the failed two at, what you're going to do with that inside that failed two is you're going to go in there and look for the 1 hour shift. So now you have the 1 hour shift. You have the fair value gap. You want to see a fair value gap on that displacement. 3 candles make a fair value gap. 1, 2, 3. High of the first candle, bottom of the third candle, don't touch. If you want more information on fair value gaps, yet again, I will leave another video link in the description for that. But you need that for a high probability shift. You also want to see a strong close above a short-term high. So we got the strong close right there above that short-term high. And then that's your confirmation signal. Okay. So at that point, once you get your strong close above the high, what you're then going to look for is a pullback into a discount. You take your Fibonacci from the low that created the displacement to the high, and you enter off a diff. Hits it on the dot. And I know it'd be kind of difficult to get in that considering the spread. So that's debatable where you would have got in or not. But the same concept applies here. And plus, I'm going to be going over a few different examples too. This is just one that I saw from this week that I wanted to talk about. But you see, like right there, that's where you're going to enter, is off that sell side, the discount. Once it pulls back into a discount, you risk that low, and you target the high right here for the 1-to-1. See how that works? That's what you're going to do. And if you were to do that, so that's if you're target. If you were to do that, you have no problem getting over 60%. Now, it's on somebody's mind already, because I know they're seeing, oh, but hold up. The previous daily's up there. So, Mike, if I want bigger risk reward, can I shoot for that? You can. But remember what I said earlier. Don't forget it. If you're going to do it like that, if you want bigger risk reward, you're going to have to embrace more losses. Because you know what will happen a lot of times? You know what's going to happen a lot of times when you wait for that? It's going to take out the high of the impulse move, where you could have just locked in your 1-to-1 and got your gain. And then you know what it's going to do? You know what it's going to do? It's going to come down, take out that low. See like I did right there? It took out that low. And then you got stopped out. Now, what you can do is, though, you can, of course, like look for a new entry, because this thing still wanted to take out that high. Because it had that fail to on the daily, I understood, because I saw it come down here, that it wasn't done yet. I understand that, okay, it came up into like the lower time frame premium. It floats off the premium. It's collected liquidity. What you can do is, though, you can look for a new entry a little bit later. Boom. And then you ends up ramping up to attack it later on, because it has to fail to. So those are we're going to go over another example here, but those are the basic rules. It's that simple. It's that simple, but I'm going to give you something else here, though, that you can do to make it even better if you want to add this in. So those are like the basic rules, but I'm going to give you something else in here that you can add in to make it even better. If you want to be a little bit more selective, what you can do is look for the failed to, but you see that low right there? So it has to fail to below the previous low, and that's ample for the daily. That's ample. But if you want to take it up a notch, see it take out a daily swing low too. So basically, look for a failed to through a daily swing low and the previous daily low. If you want to take it up a notch, now you really got something nice, extremely nice. You see? So you have that failed to, and this is your previous daily high, so that's your daily draw. That doesn't mean it's going to be your PT. With the rules that I'm teaching, your PT would be the high of the displacement leg, wherever that happens. So your target is not always going to be the high of the previous daily high. That's your draw, daily draw. But something can be your daily draw, but not exactly always the PT. See a short-term high right there? So you got that. You got your fair value gap, and then you got your strong close fair value gap, all the proper confirmation. Oh, by the way, one more time, is there any higher time frame bias set taken? There isn't. So that scratches off the list. Remember, you don't want to see any swing high taken. And then that's where you go in, you look for your 1 hour shift in the failed to. You get it. All right. So now you want to see it pull back. There's your discount. There's your entry. Where's your target going to be? Your target, once more, is going to be that high right there. It's going to be the high right there of the impulse move. That was the high that created the shift. You're going to wait for a pullback into a discount to enter. Discount being below at 50%. So you can just put like a limit order in at 50%. This one easily would have gave it to you. Like I mentioned earlier, so you'll have sometimes examples like with EU, and that might be kind of a struggle to get your entry in, right? But then you're still going to get plenty that'll dig deep like this. You get your entry. You get your target. There's your daily draw. Handled. And you see that one, you would have got your daily draw in one push too. And that's how you're going to do it. See how simple that was? And it's better than 99% of the stuff that you're going to find on YouTube. It was that simple. You can use this in futures too. On the lower time frames, probably be your best bet, right? Because the thing about Forex is you got a lot more options. Like you can go through the majors, but you can also go flip through the other pairs too, like I did with CD, JPY, and look for this scenario day in, day out on the daily. If you're just trading like NASDAQ and ES, you're not going to get nearly as much. If it happens, if it presents itself, you can still play it. But remember that price is fractal. And if you can take the initiative, and if you trade futures, plus I've kind of really talked about this already. If you've been following along on my channel for a bit, you know I've kind of talked about this on the lower time frame with futures too already. And you take what I'm teaching here, you go to your lower time frame, you can look for the same things, but on the lower time frame. So for example, you could use like a 4 hour failed to, and then you can go in and look for what? The 15-minute. Yep, we've talked about it, right? You see where I'm going with this? We've talked about this. It's just I'm using the daily. For the folks that like want a little bit more Something a little bit slower. That's the reason of this video. Something a little bit slower for the folks that find like the lower time frame too stressful. But 4 hour, you can use a 15-minute, for example. Okay, the 1 hour, you can use a 5-minute. So you can use it on all time frames. That strategy better than most stuff out there by far. Okay. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like on the video, folks. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will keep this content coming.